$17 million for 8 sacks in 3 seasons. That's a little more than $2 million per sack, and that is the end of the Derek Harvey story here in Jacksonville. It is just one of the stories coming out of the second sweltering day of Jaguars training camp. Sam is joining us now live from the practice field. Sam, Harvey was cut. Who else?
Tom, they also cut Vince Manawai right after the morning practice. Remember, yesterday he spent the day on the bike, and he did that again today because when he showed up on the first day to report, he showed up at least 15 pounds overweight, and Jack Del Rio said he wasn't prepared to practice. He wasn't in any kind of football shape. He did allude to some personal problems and some potential injuries, but both Manawai and Harvey have been cut today. As we said the other day, if it was Harvey driving that Hummer that ran through the gate at the Players parking lot, it would have been the first thing that he hit. First-round pick that the Jaguars traded away for to move up to the number 9 and really never got any production out of Harvey whatsoever, so much so that Jack Del Rio once said he is what we expected him to be, but he certainly never turned into that pass-rushing force that the Jaguars needed. Manawai's departure is very surprising because the Jaguars were obviously looking forward to him on the roster, but now it appears that Will Rackley will compete for a starting spot, and don't be surprised if there's a rookie at one of the guard positions there this year. Also, they're looking at Dewan Landry, a safety from Baltimore. They may have already signed him today, and we'll know something coming up at 6 o'clock. Meanwhile, today was a special teams practice, but through most of the practice, it ended up being Blaine Gabbert practicing. And Jack Del Rio said, look, he's not on special teams. We just got to get him some reps.
No, he won't be on punt team, but he was out here getting some work. We did a little offense and defense walkthrough as well. So good teaching morning, and then we'll come out tonight and get after it, crank it up a little bit.
Session are expected to sign today. The Jaguars also apparently have signed punter Matt Turk. That's a familiar name. He's a veteran punter after Adam Podlish signed with the Bears. The Jaguars need more kickers in camp. So right now they can actually sign in about 55 minutes. Then they can come to practice, but they can't practice. In fact, they can't practice until the CBA is ratified, and that can't happen until the union recertifies. And a lot of people are predicting that may not be until August the 4th, which is next Thursday. So still a lot of moving parts, Tom. A lot of things going on, but as you mentioned, the number 1 draft pick, Derek Harvey, and a long-time stalwart on the offensive line, Vince Manawai, now will look for employment elsewhere in the National Football League. We're live at the practice fields. Tom?
Sam, I know this is only speculative when we're talking about the second day of training camp, but you know the Jaguars extremely well. Who will be sacking quarterbacks this season, do you think?
Well, they're certainly counting on D'Anthony Smith as a guy that they signed last year, and if you remember, he was hurt very early in training camp, and this guy was a second-round pick, so they were counting on him to do that. They'll expect some production out of Austin Lane, and don't forget, the 2 linebackers that they signed, Pozlosny as well as Session, are guys that can pressure the quarterback, and if they do sign Landry, Dewan Landry, they are, as Gene Smith said, firming up that back 7. If your front 4 is the 2 ends and the 2 tackles, then the back 7, the 3 linebackers and the 4 defensive backs, are the guys that the Jaguars are concentrating on back there. If you get a combination of guys covering and rushing the quarterback, then you can play defense. If one or the other falls down, you can't get anything done. So Smith is concentrating on that side of the football. There's no question about it. Interestingly enough, this has been a big active day on the field, and it'll be a big active day inside the stadium as well. Elizabeth Cade has been following that story. Elizabeth, the Jaguars need to sell 17,000 tickets, and the first couple of days since the lockout has ended have not really been good news for them so far, have they?
Well, that's right, Sam, but today Jags fans are filtering in and out of Everbank Field, hoping to find that perfect spot to watch the games this season. And today is the day for them to select their seat. Inside the stadium, hundreds of white tags mark the spots that are still open, and the price of tickets start at $33 a game, which is $330 for the season, although some of the better seats are in the thousands. And while the team is hoping seats are bought up quickly, some fans are just moving spots, but feel it's a great day to come and look, and everyone seems to be getting excited.
Oh, this is great. It just brings energy to it, excitement to it.
Is by visually seeing that, you have a first-eye view of where you're going to be sitting. It's not just an investment.
I mean, there's such a good price range. If you want to come, if you have any interest, there should be a good way to take care of it.
Now, doors opened about an hour ago around 4 and are scheduled to stay open until 9 o'clock, which means there's still time left for you to stop by. Reporting live from Everbank Field, Elizabeth Kate, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The ticket push that began the moment the lockout ended, as you know, is all about avoiding TV blackouts. So if you miss this Select Your Seat event, you have one more chance. The next opportunity is tomorrow at the stadium from 9 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. At the moment, we just checked, and the Jaguars say they are now down to about 16,000 season tickets that have to be sold in order to prevent any blackouts this season. If you already know where you'd like to sit, you can call the Jaguars ticket office at 633-2000.